Hello students, after the completing previous chapter, today we are going to discuss on the new topic and new chapter, heredity and evolution. Students, in previous lecture, you all of you studied about the definition of heredity. Now, today we are going to discuss about heredity and genetics in more detail. Before going to discuss about the genetics, one thing more important to discuss about the variation. Yes, students, because the heredity and variation both are interconnected with the evolution, and without heredity and variation, there is no possibility of evolution, or you can say that the evolution is never possible. And students, the heredity and variation both are interconnected, are close together with the genetics. So students, let's go on the topic variation. Students, as the term clear that the variation means changes. What students? Yes, the variation means changes. Students, the individuals of the parents are not the carbon copy of them. Yes, students, the individuals of the parents are not carbon copy of them. Either like begets like. Either we know that like begets like. But students, what kind of the changes is seen in the parents of, in the individuals of similar parents? The individuals of same parents are either similar in characteristics, but there are various type of dissimilarities among them. If we are talking about the same size, body structure, body design, then these are the similar. But if we are going to talking about the behavior, the nature, the characters, then we find that there are more number of dissimilarities present between them. So students, the variations also cover the behavioral and the characteral changes, because it is governed by the following two types of factors. What are these? You can say that the variation are of two types. What are these? The first one is somatic variation. What is student? Somatic variation. And the second is the genetical or germinal variation. Then students, what are somatic variation? As the term soma means body, what is students? Soma means body and variation means differences. Then this is the kind of variation that alters the shape, size, and structure of the organism body due to the certain environmental or climatic condition in which the individuals grow. Now students, such type of variations are not inherited from one generation to the next generation, because these characteristics end with the end of the life of the individuals. But students, the second one is the genetical or germinal variation. Students, the genetical or germinal variation is based on the germ plug of the cell. Yes, students, the germ plug, it means it is a variation that is controlled by the genetic material DNA. That's why such type of the differences are transferred from one generation to the next generation, from the parents to their individuals. So they are known to be the inheritable characteristics or inheritable type of variations, and such variations are transferring from generation after generation, and these variations are very responsible from point of view of evolution, because these helps in the process of evolution. Hence, the genetical or genetical variation is more important as the point of view of evolution. Now students, we are going to discuss about the genetics. Who propounded the term genetics and who is regarded as the father of genetics? Students, the term genetics was firstly given by William Bateson. William Bateson was the biologist who first gave the term genetics, and Sir Gregor John Mendel is regarded as the father of genetics. He was born in 1822 and died in 1866. Not 66, 1868. Now students, what is the genetics? Genetics is the branch of biology that deals with the study about the kinds of characteristics which transfer from one generation to the next generation. It means, students, genetics is the branch of biology which deals with the study about the kind of principle and laws that are responsible for the transfer of parental characters into their individuals generation after generation. So students, and the term genetics is derived from the Greek word gen. Gen means to grow. to grow. Thus, genetics is the science of being growing into being. Yes, student. Genetics is a branch of science that is growing into being. Now, students, we are going to discuss about a brief history of Mendel. Mendel was born in Broome City in Austria in 1822 in a family of farmers. Yes, students. The Mendel's father was a farmer, and Mendel also very interesting in the practice of farming. After completing his elementary education, he going to the Broome City for further higher education, and after completing his higher education, he was appointed a monk in a monastery. It means in a cathedral or in a church, and there he performed the experiment on the Gardenia sweetie, that is the Pisum sativum. Mendel was in their early education well known or well studied about the science and mathematics both. So he performed his full knowledge about his experiment and full use of his knowledge in the collection of the results in their experiment. Mendel performed his experiment since 1856 to 1865, and his experiments were shown into the meeting 2 times, and this was published in 1866 in Natural History Society. Natural History Society of Broome City. Because during his monastic period, he preserved all the experiments and their calculations with their results in a notebook or in a book that is related to the Natural History Society, and after in 1866 first his experiment was published in a novel that is the Natural History Society of. There his experiment was not make remarkable effect on the meeting, but after 34 years later, a Dutch biologist Hugo de Vries, a German biologist called Lorenz, and Erich von Sermayer Sermain rediscovered the Mendel's experiment, that what was the Mendel said in 1866, and found that the concept and experiment of the Mendel's was being true, because he was given the characteristics that are inherited generation after generation, and for his contribution, the Mendel after the death was awarded by the Nobel Prize, and for his tremendous contribution, he is regarded as the father of genetics. So students, this is the brief history about the Mendel, and in next lecture we are going to discuss about the Mendel's experiments and why Mendel selected the garden tree as his experiment material. We are going to discuss about these points into next video lecture. So students, keep watching the next video lecture to know more about the Mendel's experiment and what kind of materials selected by Mendel's or what kind of characteristics. So students, thanks for joining today's lecture.